Thank you very much. We are just feel concerned. We feel agitated that the issue of terrorism and other violence conflict in Nigeria is increasing in its unacceptable proportion. We were thinking that we have actually reduced their capacity, but what is happening now has called for urgent attention and for us to look at our existing policy framework to see how far we have actually implemented them to ensure that we can reduce this conflict to its barest minimum. And the policy I'm referring to at this stage is the issue of the policy of National Counterterrorism Strategies of 2014, which was revised under the Buhari administration in 2016. And that policy has 5 streams, talking about the policy of forestall. Forestall simply means how do we address the conditions that promote and lead people into terrorism. And that forestall strategy has to do with the issue of democratic governance, respect to human rights, respect to the rule of law, and good governance within our community. Economic integration of the people, the communities, to that framework. Because poverty, you find that anywhere we have the issue of terrorism, there is a high level of poverty in that environment all over the world. And in Nigeria is a practical example. The northeastern part of Nigeria, where you have this conflict today, seems to be the poorest region in this country. And for us to ensure that we implement this counterterrorism strategy to its effective proportion, there is a need for us to relate security to the issue of good governance and economic development. And that's exactly many military actors, security actors in this country is also pushing to that directive, that we should push economic development and good governance as part and parcel of our counterterrorism strategies in Nigeria. Sunday Irabo, the former chief of defense staff, just released a book. If you go through that book, that is actually his recommendation. That the kinetic approach is not enough for us to establish or conquer this violence, conflict, or the issue of terrorism in Nigeria. There is a need for us to integrate the human security component in our counter-terrorism operations. By grace of God, I'm doing a work recently that has to do with counter-terrorism and human security that made me to travel to this conflict environment. I understand that that's actually absence of human security in those environments. And for us to have effective counter-terrorism operation, there is a need for us to understand there is a need for us to deploy our assault power. That the barrels of gun, the technology did not have the capacity to quell or stop this issue of terrorism. So another frame is the issue of secure, that issue of security. How do we secure, empower, and increase the capacity of our law enforcement agents? The Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Police, other paramilitary intelligence agencies in Nigeria, for them to increase their capacity, motivate them, create the welfare, give them the modern weapon for them to actually prosecute this war. Train and retrain our law enforcement agents. And that secure priority is also very, very important, because we just had recently what happened in one of our communities recently. So to a very large extent, there is a need for us to ensure that our security agency have the capacity to secure those environments. And that secure strategy to a very large extent must be in accordance with the provisions of the rules of law and human rights. Because whenever you are carrying out any security strategies and the human rights of the people are not being enhanced, not being protected, to a very large extent, it will make them to have passion or support for the non-state actors instead of the state, believing that the state did not have the capacity to actually enhance and protect their life and their property. So that's what my perspective today, that we try as much as can, how do we integrate human security component in our counter-terrorism strategies, and that is the only way in which we can actually reduce or eradicate the issue of terrorism in our space today. And the driving force of the conflict to a very large extent, it has to do with the economic factors. And whenever there is economic conflict, there is also a need for a socio-economic viability or socio-economic parameter for us to address such conflict. So that is my campaign today, that our men have actually suffered. We know that today is Nigeria International Men's Day, but men are suffering, which is the head of the household. When there is an attack, they will be displaced. It's the responsibility of these men to find alternative home for the family, provide food for them, ensure their health care. The school system of the children will also be destabilized as a result of the issue of terrorism, as a result of ineffective counter-terrorism operation that will eliminate the human security component of these communities or as an individual. So what I'm saying today, there is a need for us to integrate human security and counter-terrorism operation for us to actually defeat this issue of terrorism. Then there is also an argument issue that has to do with the issue of the radicalization program in Nigeria, which has also not to be effective, because there is another theory of the re-radicalization. After they have been radicalized, they radicalized and re-radicalized. So some of those guys that have actually been trained and they will feel that they are now back to the society, find them paying allegiance to this terrorist organization again. So there is a need for us to have a holistic approach that is very comprehensive in nature, people-centered and specific in context, if we can actually bring the issue of terrorism to its barest minimum in Nigeria. And to our men anywhere in Nigeria, any part of Africa that is under siege, that is suffering any form of conflict and other, are having the inability and incapacity to realign the human security complex of the family, we are here to show our concern and create a global awareness for your sake, to ensure that men all over the world are being protected and ensure that they have the capacity to ensure the realization of human security component of their family. Once again, men who have contributed to the building of our world in one way or the other, I say happy International Men's Day. And I believe that very soon, if the recommendation I have stated so far is being implemented, your case and your issue will be addressed. I still remain myself, my humble self, Fidelis Obove, and I say God bless you.